to me and Family Fun Tube. We're going to do our reload! Okay, so we have our beautiful nursery collection. Beautiful, beautiful. I gotta read that first. I forget what page we're on because our bookmark kind of fell. I think it's this. Oh, yep. Oh, there goes my bookmark. Okay, so last time we read our nursery, we read about I Hear Thunder. You guys can go check that out. It was a little song. So now we're going to read Barney the Boastful Bear. Barney was a very boastful bear. Look at my lovely soft fur, he would say to other toys. See how it shines? Barney loved to talk about himself. I'm the smartest toy in the playroom, he would say. It's a well-known fact. He didn't know that the other toys all laughed about him behind his back. That bear thinks he's so smart, growled Scotty Dog. But he isn't smart enough to know when everyone's fed up with him. He'll learn his lesson one of these days, said Molly Monkey. And sure enough, that's just what happened. So there's... On one hot summer day, the toys lazed in the warm playroom. Wouldn't it be nice if we could go for a walk outside, said Ragdoll. We could have a lovely picnic in the woods, said Old Bear. Even better, we can go for a drive in the toy car first, said Rabbit. But none of us is big or smart enough to drive the toy car, said Ragdoll sadly. I am, came a voice from the corner. It was Barney. Had been listening to them talking. So they're all planning on going to a little adventure. So if you're wondering why I'm going like this, I'll make sure you guys can see it. I can drive the toy car, and I know the best place for a picnic. Place in the woods, he said. We've never seen you drive the car, said Rabbit suspiciously. That's because I drive it at night when you're asleep, said Barney. I'm a very good driver, in fact. So they're all in the car. Ooh, let's go then, cried Ragdoll. And in no time they had packed up picnic and were sitting in the car ready to go. I don't feel like driving today, actually, mumbled Barney. It is too hot. But the others were not interested in hearing excuses. So Barney reluctantly climbed to the driver's seat and started the engine. You see, the truth was Barney had never really driven a car before, and he was scared. But he wanted to show off, so he pretended to know what he was doing. Off they set down the garden path. Toot toot! Barney beeped the horn as he turned the little car out into the country lane. And soon enough, they were driving along singing merrily. So he's doing a good job so far, but that doesn't mean there's not going to be an accident later. It all was going well until Ragdoll suddenly said, Hey, Barney, didn't we just miss the turnoff for the woods? I know where I'm going, said Barney angrily. Leave it to me. And he made the little car go faster. Slow down a little, Barney, called Old Bear from the back seat. My fur's getting all ruffled. And he was starting to feel anxious. I don't need a backside driver. Thank you, said Barney with a growl, and he even made the car go faster. By now, the others were starting to feel scared, but Barney was having a great time. So there's Old Bear, kind of nervous. So he's speeding the car. Everyone else is very nervous. Aren't I a wonderful driver? He chuckled. Look, no hands! And he took his paws off the steering wheel just as they reached a sharp corner. Little Cotton was sprinting off the side of the road and crashed into a tree, tipping all the toys out into a ditch. Oh, he wrecked the car. Look at him. Oh my God. They were a little bit dazed, but luckily no one was hurt. They were not pleased with Barney, though. You silly bear, said Rabbit angrily. We could have been badly hurt. We have to walk home now, said Ragdoll, rubbing her head. Where are we? Everyone looked at Barney. Don't ask me, he said quietly. But you said you knew the way, said Old Bear gingerly. I was only pretending, said Barney, his voice trembling. I don't really know how to drive, and I don't know where we are. And then he started to cry. Aww. He just wanted to impress everyone. That's so sad. The other toys were furious with Barney. You naughty, boastful bear, they scolded. Now see what your trouble, your boasting had got us into? The lost toys walked through the dark woods all night long, clinging together in fright as shadows loomed around them. They've never been out at night before. Then just before dawn they spotted a little house where they lived, and crept back into the playroom. So they're walking home? What a relief it was to be home again. Luckily their owner had not noticed they were missing, so she never knew what an adventure her toys had been having while she was fast asleep. She often wondered what had happened to her toy car, though. As for Barney, he was very sorry for the trouble he had caused. After a while, the other toys forgave him, and from that day on, he never boasted about anything again. So he learned his lesson. And tomorrow we're going to be reading about I Love Little Pussycat, and I Had a Little Nut Tree. So that was our nursery collection. Alright. Let's see how long this is. Okay, it's pretty long, so we'll save it for the end. We'll save this for the end because it's pretty long. So, a while back we started our new Dad Will Be Kid book, so let's get reading. So last time we read about how they were getting packing and stuff and the troubles they had to do to get everything into the van. So let's get going. Today's Saturday, which is actually Saturday today. Even with the added space we got from the boat, the minivan was still pretty full. I snuck my pillow on board at the last second because I decided I was entitled to be to at least have one luxury item. I figured Roderick would want to sit in the back of the van because whenever we go anywhere as a family, he likes to stretch out and take a nap. Every once in a while, we'll forget about Roderick is even back there. This Easter, we made it halfway through church before Mom realized Roderick never made it out of the van. So look, he's just fast asleep in the back seat, which is not very safe, but still. Back when we had a station wagon, me and Roderick used to sit in the way back together in a seat that faced the near window. But we got in big trouble when we played a practical joke on Mom and Dad that ended up getting us pulled over from the police. So they're like, these people are kidnapping us. And that got them pulled over. When we got into the van today, Roderick offered me in the back seat. I accepted before he could change his mind, but I should have known the offer was too good to be true. So look, he's stuffed with all this package and stuff. Before we pulled out of the driveway, Mom said we were going to take a special guest along for the ride. For a second, I was worried we were picking someone else up, because with all our stuff in the van, they would have to sit on the roof. But Mom opened her purse and pulled out a piece of paper for drawing on it. So look, they have no space whatsoever in their van. The drawing was Flat Stanley, a character from the book I read in 2nd grade. So this is Flat Stanley. Flat Stanley is a boy who gets squashed by a bulletin board that falls off his bedroom wall in the middle of the night. When they pull the bulletin board off him, he's as thin as paper. Thin as a piece of paper. I thought it was pretty cool that Flat Stanley could fold himself up and get mail to his grandma's, or have his brother flying like a kite. So he's flying like a kite since he's thin as paper. But I'll tell you this: if Flat Stanley had a brother like Roderick, I guarantee he wouldn't survive a whole day. So look, he's getting put up in the paper shredder. He's already screaming. Well, Gregory is screaming. But he's not actually a paper shredder, so don't. I really liked the book, but it kind of freaked me out too. One thing I did was give me a Delphi Fear bulletin board. Are you sure you don't want the bed? It's a lot more comfy. That's okay, you take it. So above their bed is a bulletin board. And he thinks it's going to fall on him and flat him, but it's not. In 2nd grade, everyone in my class had to color in a cutout of Flat Stanley and mail him to a friend or relative who lives far away. Then that person was supposed to take a picture of Flat Stanley in front of something interesting and mail him back with the photo. My friend Rolly sent Flat Stanley to a bunch of his relatives and got a lot of cool pictures back. Rolly even sent him to his uncle who lives in Asia, and he took a picture of Flat Stanley in front of the Great Wall of China. So he lives in China, which is pretty cool. Well, the first person Mom sent my Flat Stanley to was her cousin Stacy, who lives in Settler, but she probably wasn't the best choice. Stacy is one of those people who hoard all sorts of stuff, like newspapers, magazines. So Mom should have known that once her cousin got her hands on Flat Stanley, he wasn't coming back. So this is... See, she is running out of room. Today, Mom said she was going to take all the photos. She was going to take photos of our new Flat Stanley in front of all the cool places we visit and make them a scrapbook for our trip. As soon as we got on the highway, she started snapping pictures, but she was probably a little too eager because her first few pictures weren't exactly eager. So it was in front of a tree, a sign, and a cow. With the cow you should keep, but not the others. When Mom wasn't taking pictures, Flat Stanley was taped to the front air conditioning vent. All I could say, he was having a lot better ride than I was. The windows in the back seat of the van don't open, and the vents were blocked by all our luggage, so I wasn't getting any cold air. What made me even more uncomfortable was the fact that Mom was in control of the trip. Mom always tries to make things about education, which is important, and I know she's going to turn this experience into one long lesson. She's been doing that ever since I was little. I remember when I got scratched by Grandma's cat, and Mom tried turning it into a teaching moment. K-A-T, cat. So he's crying, and she's just like, oh, cat, meow. Sure enough, a half an hour into the trip today, Mom started with the educational stuff. She had borrowed a bunch of CDs from the library that teach Spanish, and said we'd use the long stretches of the road trip to learn a new language as a family. Learn to speak Spanish fluently. Mom's always saying that learning a foreign language is the best thing you could do for your brain. That might be true, but I think she should leave the actual teaching to the schools. Mom decided it would be a good idea to expose me to a foreign language. Mom decided it would be a good idea to expose me to a foreign language early on. So when I was in first grade, she would put the Spanish-speaking channels on TV while we ate breakfast. Mom would repeat whatever they said on the television. But when she said the words, they came out a little bit different. Tango hamburgers. So Gregory doesn't know why it's coming up. I ended up learning all sorts of phrases that weren't right. For example, the way you're supposed to say what's your name in Spanish is como te llamas. Well, I know that now because I learned it in my middle school Spanish class. Well, when I was little, Mom taught me that what's your name in Spanish is actually te amo, which actually means I love you. I just wish I would have known that before I said it to a million different people. So her mom's grad, but she's actually saying I love you to this random person. Today, Mom played the first two Spanish CDs, but she got frustrated that no one seemed to be paying attention. So she switched gears and said we were going to play a card game she read about in her magazine. Another idea from the magazine, if you guys read about. She gets all her ideas from a magazine. The game was called An Alphabet Groceries, and you play it like this. The first player has to name an item that you can get at the grocery store that starts with the letter A. The next person has to come up with an item that starts with B, and so on. If a player can't come up with the item that starts with the letter, they're out of the game. Mom said I should go first, so I said apple, which I guess was kind of an obvious choice. Roger was up next, but he said he couldn't come up with any food that started with B. I'm pretty sure he was lying to get out of having to play the game. But with Roger, you never know. So he's just like, because he doesn't know. When Roger got knocked out, the turn went to Manny, who came up with this word right away, Bapple, which is not right. There's not an item called Bapple. Mom started clapping, but I pointed out that Bapple isn't a real word. She said Manny's just learning the alphabet, that we need to encourage him. I quit in protest, and from then on, it was only Manny, Mom, and Dad playing. I really wish my earplugs wasn't buried in my duffel bag under a pile of suitcases, because the next hour and a half was pretty painful. Zapple! Yay! All that talk of food was actually getting me kind of hungry. And when I saw a sign for a drive-thru place at the next exit, I asked Mom if we could pull over. Well, Mom said we wouldn't be stopping at any of those kind of restaurants because they don't serve real food. That's right. Some of them don't, but still. She said fast food places lure children in cheap plastic toys to trick them into eating sugar and fat. and we weren't going to fall into that trap. Mom said she had much better and handed me a lunch bag with my name on it. Mommy meal, nutritious, fun activities. All mixed up. So there's a bunch of, I think this looks great, like a bunch of activities, but maybe it would work. Yeah, it would work now, like under 13 or under, and I'm 11, so it would probably work on me, like activities will keep me, not bored, but maybe 13 and up probably would not be interested in that stuff because they're only a teenager, so. Mom said she got me the mommy meal idea from a family Roderick, which I guess I should not have came as a surprise. Inside the bag was a tuna fish sandwich, an orange, and a little carton of milk, plus something wrapped in tinfoil. Mom said I should eat my fruit before I unwrapped the tinfoil because that was my prize. But I wish I just opened it right away because I wouldn't eat the whole orange if I'd known that the prize was a pack of math flashcards. Okay, maybe the math flashcards is a little bit too much. Roger got flashcards in his lunch too, and we could both see where this was heading. So before Mom could turn the next hour of trip into a touring session, I pulled out one of the games Mom had packed in a big tote bag. The game I grabbed was called I Must Confess, and when Mom saw it, she got excited she forgot about the flashcards. I read the rules, which are pretty simple. One person takes a card from the deck and reads it out loud to everyone else. I must confess, I made a famous person. I haven't. If one of the players has done the thing that's written on the card, they earn a point. And the first player to get 10 points wins. I was a little skeptical at first, but I have to admit, the game was actually kind of fun. I learned a lot of things about Mom and Dad I never knew before. I found out that Mom had a pet chameleon when she was a kid, and that Mom dyed her hair blonde once, which really surprised me. Believe it or not, even Roderick was getting into the game. He got a point for being the only person who ever slept out overnight for tickets to a concert. Another point for getting a bug stuck in his ear. I remember it like yesterday. Dad and Roderick were neck and neck with 9 points, and whoever scored next would win the game. Mom seemed really happy everyone was getting along and having fun. Then she pulled the next card out of the deck and read it. I must confess, I've toilet papered a neighbor's house. So I think this one's like a target to see who done it. I'm pretty sure Mom thought no one was going to get a point on that card because she already was reaching for the next one. But Roderick started acting like he just won the lottery. I win! Mom thought Roderick was lying to get a point, but he told her it was true. He said that a few months ago, he and his bandmates toilet papered Miss Toltle's house next door after she called the police to complain that they were making too much noise for rehearsing. Oh no. Roderick thought the whole thing was pretty funny, but Mom didn't seem amused. Let me get this straight. You and two of the bandmates toilet papered an elderly woman's house, so she's mad. She was mad. So that puts an end to that game. If I was Roderick, I would have changed my story real quick and said I was just joking around to win the game, but Roderick didn't seize his chance to bail out. No, there were 4 of us. Roderick just wants to really get in trouble. Mom had Dad pull over to the side of the road, then handed Roderick her phone and made him call Miss Total to apologize, which was awkward for everyone in the car. I'm sorry for toilet papering your house, ma'am. So he really had to call. That's embarrassing. After that, I was quiet in the van for a long time. Mom was about to pop up the next Spanish CD in the stereo, but luckily, Manny had fallen asleep by then, so she couldn't. If you wake Manny up in the middle of one of his naps, he'll completely go ballistic, and there's no calming him down. So whenever Manny falls asleep, Mom and Dad do everything they can to keep him that way. Hey, has anyone seen my shh? This happens a lot in my family. Which is no big deal. They want the baby to sleep and not be loud. I was big on naps too when I was Manny's age too. I used to take an hour-long nap after lunch every day. And when I started preschool, we had an official nap time where everyone pulled a mat and slept on the floor. They do. I've never been to pre-K or preschool, but I've been to kindergarten. If you ask me, I think they should give kids nap time all the way through college, but they stopped doing it after preschool, which I found out the hard way. On the first day of kindergarten, after we had our snacks, I asked the teacher where the mats were so I could lie down and recharge our batteries. Don't fall over, don't fall over, don't fall over. Okay. Oh my god. This happened twice, you guys. But she said kindergartners don't have nighttime, and I thought she was just making a funny joke. Yeah, right. A few minutes later, the whole class was making paper bag puppets. Apparently, I was the only one who didn't get the heads up about the no nap thing, because for the rest of the day, everyone else seemed fine, while I could barely function. I'm glad my mom remembered to bring a pacifier on the trip, because as long as Manny got one of those stuck in his mouth, he could sleep through just about anything. Manny lost his favorite pacifier last night, but Dad ran out to get a new one at a store or near a house that sells gag gifts. That's the binky from the one we saw at the front when we started the book. I guess it looks a little strange, but it works just as well as another one, a regular one. Manny had been sleeping peacefully for about an hour today when we stopped at this toll booth. Dad rolled down his window to get a ticket, and the guy in the booth had such a loud voice he sounded like he was speaking through a megaphone. Hope you all having an awesome day! Manny started to fuss, and his pacifier came halfway at his mouth, but luckily Roderick reacted quickly, and Manny fell back asleep. I think Mom was a little frustrated that Manny was napping in the first place. She had marked a bunch of places on a map where she wanted to stop and get some sightseeing, but now we had to keep driving. Oh my god! But that must be happy for everyone else, because they don't want to go to them. The problem I had with Manny's nap time, and I really needed to get out of the car and stretch, but I couldn't. I tried to make myself comfortable with all the stuff piled around me, but it was impossible. I bet you can make something comfortable out of that. I mean, luckily my backpack was in arm's reach behind my seat because I had some books and other things that I brought to entertain myself. Mom's always trying to get me to read stuff that's enriching, but when it comes to books, I know what I like. And ever since elementary school, my favorite books have been the Underpants Bandit series. The Underpants Bandit series books are about these two kids named Bryce and Brody who go back in time and steal underwear from famous people so that they can put it underwear in a museum. So this is Underwear Bandits. Underpants Bandits. I know that sounds kind of ridiculous, but the books are actually pretty funny. And just as Van Gogh returned to his masterpiece, Bryce snatched the painter's favorite pair of boxers, which thank goodness were clean. So this is part of the book. The books are super popular with the boys at my school, but the teachers hate them because of the rude humor. Whenever a book report was due in 5th grade, all the boys in my class said theirs on one of the Underpants Bandit books. And that made my teacher, Miss Terry, hate them even more. Underpants Bandits in the Shakespeare Schools. Underpants Bandits in the Napoleon's Breeches. So there's a bunch. People wrote their own book reports, and that's pretty cool. Our class had a project of where we had to write a letter to our favorite author. And of course, all the boys chose Mick Davis's, which is the person who wrote it. But Mrs. Terry said we had to pick someone else. So I got a random book from the library and wrote my letter to an author I've never heard before. So this is the letter. Dear Nathal, my teacher made us write to an author, so I picked you. I have not read any of your books. No offense. Here are the questions for you. What's your favorite color? What's your favorite animal? What's your favorite flavor of ice cream? What's your favorite superhero movie? I'd appreciate if you could answer me soon because I'm getting graded on this. Sincerely, Greg Heffley. But I probably should have checked in the year the book was written before I wrote my letter. Dear Mr. Heffley, we regret to inform you that the author whom you have written, Mr. Hawthorne, passed away more than a century ago. As such, he will not be able to respond to your questions. With regards, Kada Welker, publisher. So that is embarrassing. Most parents don't like Underpants Bandits books either. In fact, the PTA had a meeting that year where they decided the parents' tax dollars shouldn't be use to purchase any of Underpants Bandit's books for the library. Underpants Bandit in the gang. So there's a. So what's wrong with the book? It shouldn't be that bad. I mean, it's a book. When we came back to the school from spring break, all the Underpants Bandit books in the library were gone. So that might be a shock. I hope these adults are happy when a whole generation of boys grow up not knowing how to read. When the school banned the Underpants Bandits books, it just made them more popular than ever. Some boys snuck in copies from home and passed them on to other kids. Pretty cool. One even brought a bootleg copy of Underpants Bandits books from Japan. I couldn't understand a word of it, but it was pretty easy to figure out from the pictures what was going on. So, what do you guys think's happening? I actually wrote to the author on my own, just telling him how much I like the series. August 18th. Dear Mr. Davis, I'm just writing to tell you don't listen to these people who say your books are garbage, because they don't know what they're talking about. I know a bunch of kids, including me, who think your books are great. As far as the rude humor goes, I find this stuff hilarious. So please don't change a thing. In fact, I would encourage you to put more boldly functions and things in the nature of your books. Sincerely, Greg Heffley. I've never wrote a fan letter like that, and every day when I get home from school, I run back to the mailbox to see if Mick Davis had written me back. I finally got a response almost a year later, and I was really excited. But when I read the letter, it was a huge disappointment. From the desk of Mick Davis's dear friend, unfortunately, I get so much fan mail, that I'm not able to answer your letter personally. But I did want to tell you to be on the lookout for Underpants Bandits 24 Lincoln's Long John's coming to the stores near you. Lots of yucks, Nick. So I don't get what the disappointing thing is. I couldn't believe I poured my heart out with this guy, and all I got back was an ad. Oh, so he's upset that he just got an ad and didn't get like a thing. Even though that whole experience left a bad taste in my mouth, I still like his books. At least I get to read whatever I want this summer. Roderick gave him a whole list for required reading, and some of the books look like a lot of work. So there's some of the books. But Roderick's not smart for either, so he rented all the movie versions of the books on his list. Mom said it's not smart to watch the movie without reading the book, because they usually change a lot of stuff, but Roderick said as long as he got the basic idea, he'll be fine. I think his approach is going to cause problems, though. The Lord of the Rings is on his summer reading list, but when he rented the movie, he wasn't careful about checking the title. Lords of the Ring. Roderick watched the movie twice, and after the second time, he told Mom that whoever wrote the book must be a genius. But I'm guessing Roderick's teacher is going to be pretty confused when she reads his book report in September. Crunch. Pound. By the time I was done reading today, I really needed to get out of the car to prevent my legs from permanently cramping. Manny was still asleep, but he somehow turned himself all the way upside down in his seat. What's that? He must be very comfortable. No. When Mom noticed, she told Dad maybe we should stop driving for the day, so we pulled off at the next exit. I was really looking forward to eating a meal at a decent restaurant, but Mom said we're on a budget, and tonight we're going to pick up our dinner at a grocery store. Dad found a supermarket a few miles from the exit, but Mom was afraid that if the van stopped moving, Manny would wake up and have a fit. So Mom wrote out a shopping list for Roderick and gave him some money. Then Dad drove real slow in front of the entrance so that Roderick could hop out, because he didn't want the van moving because they were afraid that he was going to wake up. Dad had to circle the parking lot about 10 times, which wasn't easy since we were towing a boat. Eventually, Roderick came out with a couple bags of groceries, and from the looks of it, he picked up some extra stuff for himself. That's not good. When Dad pulled the van around, Roderick hopped in. Then he started looking for a place to stay for the night, but the section in the area wasn't great, so they're looking for a hotel. A few motels had big signs that said they had color TV, which, if you ask me, nothing to brag about this day and age. Dad finally pulled over at a place with an air conditioning and a pool, which sounded pretty great to me, especially considering that I lost about 5 pounds of sweat sitting in the back seat. I haven't stayed in a whole lot of motels, but if I had to guess, I'd say we picked one with the lower end of the spec run. The lobby smelled like a Milo, and the carpet was covered in weird stains. So this is the kind of crappy hotels. But everyone was too tired to get back in the car and look for another place to stay. When we got to the key to our room, we walked in a reek of smoke. There was little holes in the comfort pillows that I'm sure were enough for cigarette burns. Oh my god. Dad picked up a towel off the floor and then dropped it because it was wet. Ew. Mom went back to the front desk and asked for a different room, but the clerk said the motel was full and that we got in the last one. Mom told her that in case we were going to leave, take our business to another motel, but the clerk told her there were 24-hour cancellation policies, so we couldn't get our money back. What kind of rules are those? Those are garbage rules. When Mom returned to the room, she said we were going to have to try to make the best of a bad situation. Then she and Dad stripped the bed down to the bare mattress. Yeah, look at those covers. Believe it or not, Manny slept through all of this. Mom said that if he woke up now, he would just be awake all night, so we were going to let him sleep through till morning. Mom put Manny down in the middle of the sofa and bed and put a blanket over him. The rest of us were really hungry, so we emptied out the groceries Roderick bought. But it turned out he didn't buy anything on Mom's list. Oh no, they're going to starve. They're going to be hungry. Roderick was supposed to get a sandwich supplies, orange juice, and stuff like that, but he just got a bunch of things he likes. Oh my god. Mom was pretty upset that Roderick didn't get a single thing on the list she gave him, but his excuse that he couldn't read her handwriting. Mom told him it wasn't very smart to get cinnamon rolls and a frozen pizza, since those things needed an oven and we didn't have one. But Roderick said we should microwave the pizza. Then he put it inside the microwave oven to prove it. At least Roderick thought it was a microwave. It was actually a safe. By the time he figured that out, the pizza was locked inside. Oh my god. So they don't have a microwave, an oven, or probably a fridge. I mean, Mom gave what was left over cash to go to the vending machine to get the most nutritious I could find. And that's how we ended up eating sugar wafers and breath mints for dinner on the first night of our road trip. Oh god, that sucks. I don't know if we're gonna have enough time. Like, that chapter was long, and I don't know if we're gonna have enough time to read our natural resources, but let's just see. I don't know if we're allowed. I don't know. Okay. Okay. Yeah, we're not gonna have enough time. Like, it's pretty long. Like, there's this, there's that, and that, and that. Oh, no. Okay, so we're gonna have to read just one page, because this is long. Like, this read aloud is 33 minutes. We'll try. And, you know what? I'm gonna put this into parts.